them clean it.
Okay, and we'll get it taken care of. So,
Do you need these tonight?
No, they just emailed them to me. My card is in there, so.
all right, we ready? All right, I'm gonna call this meeting to order of the River Plantation Municipal Utility District Board of Directors at 6:30 p.m. on Thursday, May 26th of 2022. Okay. First item on the agenda is to review the minutes of the meeting, or to approve the minutes of the meeting from April 28th and the special meeting on May 4th. Okay. Anybody have any questions, comments?
Yeah, I move to accept the minutes.
A second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All right, minutes are approved. Okay. All right, second item on the agenda is to receive comments from the public. Okay, D-Judge.
Nobody else ahead of me?
Nobody said, yeah, well, do you want me to read them in case somebody does? Mark Denham, do you have anything you want to say?
No, thank you.
Okay, Keith Arendt? No? Okay. Betty Brown? No? Matthew Duval?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, okay.
Am I up?
You're up.
First, thank you for taking a few minutes before the board. Let me speak. I'm not here on a business matter, I'm here on a personal matter. We live on Duval Early Lane, and very much to my dismay, we are having to move out of the community here. We have been here for a year and a half. We had a deposit for, I believe, $250 with the MUD. On the 19th, the people that own the home, we rent the home.
Okay,
They are coming from California to retake the home and live in the home. So we gave information to, I guess, the operations community that we would be moving, much to our dismay. We love it here. Anyway, long story short is that we were kind of anticipating that particular deposit to be returned to us. On the 19th, the Merviches who own the home did replace the deposit from ours. My understanding, it did not hit the bookkeeper in time.
okay.
So my wife has made me come up here and ask, when are we gonna get our deposit? So,
If it didn't, do you have his request for a deposit? Is it Duval? Is that your-
Duval, yes.
Okay,
Matthew,
for next time. It wasn't on this month's. I didn't see it.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't see it. And those were just sent to me from Richard, so I'd have to.
Okay.
My concern is I know that we're switching operations.
Right,
I just wanna make sure that we're gonna see it. Right now, I need to provide a forwarding address. Should I
Right.
provide it to you?
Tell you
Or,
what, just so I can be watching for it, I will
Yes,
give
ma'am.
you my card, and in that way, you can email it to me.
that would be great. I'll do it this evening.
And the new guy's right in front of you.
Yep.
yep.
With mine. I suspect you've seen me before. Matthew, M-A-T-T-H-E-W, last name Duval, D-U, capital V-A-L. And it's 558 Duval Early Lane. Conroe. Yeah, you got it. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
And that's really all I needed.
Thank you.
very much.
Thank you. And we'll be watching for it too, to
Wonderful.
kind of see.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Have a good evening. Thank
No
you.
problem. Thank you. All right, now Dee, now
Okay,
you're up.
all right, listen, I want to get back to the tank question I had from last month. As you know, this is the only reason I've been coming to these meetings from the beginning, and since Richard's not going to be answering questions next month, are you? So I thought I'd get him today. So anyway, Richard, whose decision was it to construct the Charleston plant?
Charleston plant?
Plant number 3.
Whose decision was it?
Yeah.
It was a combination of myself and engineers.
Okay. And then, of course, you gave me some reasons here last month. But back when the well was put up, there was gonna be no storage tank because all the distribution lines emanated from Plant 2. And RP was already built out. This was back in the 90s. Now, in March of '08, you presented us with a 4-page justification letter from the engineer to TCEQ. Let me just read you the first paragraph, because this is the one I have a question on. This letter is to define the scope of work required to construct water storage and pumping facilities at the site of well number 3, the Charleston site. The purpose of the improvements is to accommodate future growth in the district, including proposed commercial and multifamily development along I-45. Now, since we were all built out except for the property across the freeway, where's the future growth? Where was that? It says future growth including the 45 property. So there's gotta be something you guys were thinking about, you and the engineer. What was it?
Well, at the time, Mosswood wasn't built out, and in this case
Oh,
here,
that was
RP.
really too many little things to put up a 500,000 gallon tank.
Well, that's not the only reason why we built that plant. I know you keep referring to that, but that plant was also built to back up the system in the event of the failure of plant number 2, as I explained. If plant 2 had failed and we did not have that plant there, plant 1 was not adequate to run the district.
Well, forget plant 1, that's too little to even concern
That's
yourself
my point,
about.
right there.
Well, but the problem is.
And the engineer agreed with me after doing the calculations, that that would not support the district.
Well, the thing is, we have this interconnect with East Plantation. Now,
Which will not work.
I'm gonna round out numbers. Now, East Plantation has 500 connections, and they have 2 500,000 gallon tanks.
Now they
Our,
do this.
no, they did then.
Yeah.
They did then. And we had 1,000 connections and not one 500,000 gallon tank. And we have an interconnect, which we don't have to use all the time. So it just seems a little weird that we're trying to help East Plantation when they have so much water for their capacity. So anyway, let me continue on here with this. What was funny is that you used the property across the freeway as a reason. Because in April, previously in 2007, the people over there they were coming over here to see if we had water so they could connect and all this jazz. Well, we didn't. And so they figured, okay, how about if RP gets into a contract with the city of Conroe? Because Conroe had a 16-inch water main going down the freeway there. And they would pay RP water, they would pay the Conroe water, and RP would get the tax money. And so that seemed to be an easy deal because it would cost them less and you guys would get money without doing anything. But then Mahaffey wanted $20,000 for a legal and engineering study. And after that, there was no conversation, nothing else in the file. And in fact, nothing has been put on that property till 2022. So we got 15 years of nothing. Because they didn't have any pre-sales, they didn't have any pre-leasing. They had nothing but dirt. So it was kind of amusing here that this is one of the reasons for the tank. And in fact, on page 2 of that form, the #1 reason is the property across the freeway. So it's just, and then, of course, the East Plantation, which I just mentioned, and then fire protection. When we contacted the fire department, they didn't know anything about this. They bring tankers in because they can get that water out of there quicker, then they can get to the hydrants.
Dee, that's your third test.
Well, Lulu gave me 3 more.
Okay.
Okay. All right, and let's see. Now, developer's supposed to pay for this, as you mentioned too in a subsequent meeting, Richard. Now, here we spent $1 million on that, and that could have been used to do repairs to the district. And I got one more thing. On that letter that the engineer sent to the TCEQ, it was never received. Did a PIR to that and to the another community up there, and they have no copy of the record. They have no copy of the reply. TCEQ tells me that when they get a request, they reply to it. Well, there was no copy of anything. So I'm not sure that was really a real letter. I think it was just meant to let the residents know what was going on. I'm gonna give you just one more example, just in case any of you are in another mud and they do anything weird. This refers to a mud in Harris County. They had extra land, so a developer came and said, you know, we'd like to develop, but you don't have enough water, but we don't want to pay for another water plant. But this is gonna be a $60 million project, you're gonna get all this tax money. Well, they fell for it. So anyway, the project gets done, the developer goes to the appraisal district, gets it knocked down to 20 million. So I called my friend and I said, what the heck are you doing? And she says, I was only 1 vote out of 5, so you cannot count on that. If you're gonna be doing anything for anybody, let them have some skin in the deal. Okay, that's all I had.
Thank you. Okay, Ann Thomas.
Yes. I have been noticing an uptake in comments about pools in the mud and requirements that are required. And I know our ACC through the Crest is requesting certain information, and they're being told by the mud, is what I'm understanding, that they do not need that information. But per building code, and there is a swimming pool code that states that water draining from a pool must be connected to the sewer or the storm line for section 320 of the International Pool Code that went into effect in the state of Texas in 2019. And I'm wondering why we are not upholding that in this mud district.
So I guess I'll jump to that. Okay, so Richard had just forwarded me some pool requirements. The rate order for the district requires that when a new pool is going in, that if they have a backwashing system, that they're required to connect it to the sanitary sewer and pay a tap fee. There's no review of plans or anything of that nature from the rate order that I see. Now, it is a state requirement, but that's not jurisdictionally upheld by the MUD district, that's upheld by the state. The builder is required to meet that standard. If they don't meet that standard, correct me if I'm wrong, Davis, but if they don't meet that standard, then they're liable for it through state repercussions possibly?
Yeah, no, I prefer from the district standpoint not to get into builder liability.
Right.
Let me just say that generally the district doesn't have the authority to review and approve plans.
I understand that, it's the ACC's regulations in this instance, and the ACC is requesting the information from the MUD. Why isn't the MUD providing that information? And per code, it says it is required that the governing agency can request it. Section 320.1 of the International Swimming Pool Building Code.
The government, go ahead.
Governing agency is how they word it, which means the ACC in this instance.
Okay, I mean, I will say that that the district inspects all connections to the district system. We have a rate
And
and
as
policy.
per our ACC or ACG guidelines, it states that we have to have a letter submitted by the MUD to the ACC for approval before the pool can be built. So I'm wondering why the MUD is not enforcing.
Ma'am, I think that's a decision for the board to make on whether or not they think that the district should be reviewing pool construction plans.
I'm not asking them to review pool construction plans. What I'm asking them to do is to provide proof that the builder has submitted proof to do the water tap.
Proof has submitted just a tap request.
Just the tap request. It's not the MUD's responsibility to dictate the size. That is up to the building code, and I get that. But our ACGs request that the MUD provide a letter stating that they had submitted the plans and that they're being submitted to the MUD for the tap. Just the tap, not the plans.
So on the request, just for the instance, for the request we've gotten from the ones I've seen, it was a request for some sort of drainage report study approval and some sort of drainage connection. And that, from what you're saying, is not an issue. You submit for a tap fee, you provide the appropriate information plumbing wise, the operations company typically goes, okay, cool, and if that's the case, then we can check between the operations company and myself and say, yeah, they've done the proper approval to do such, if that's what you're asking.
That's what the ACG states, is that they have to submit for the TAP and they have to provide proof for the TAP to the ACC.
Let me interject on this. I believe, hi, it's Jamie from the RPCIA. I believe what's going on is that Crest Management, when the ACC needs information, they send Crest the list of what they're requiring. And I think what's going on is Crest did not know the difference between whatever they're asking for. They're thinking that you guys provide all of that.
Gotcha.
And that's not the case.
Yeah, that was.
But in the past, the MUD has always signed off, and I've got letter after letter that we've received, so that's why.
Yeah, I don't think we have any issue providing a TAP approval. I think the more though was
Yeah.
us reviewing the actual plans and things like that.
No.
Like we don't want to get in the business of
No,
that,
that's not
but,
yours.
you
No,
know,
that's not
you
your
guys, You guys
responsibility.
typically do TAP approvals for whatever it may be, any sort of connection. So that's not an issue whatsoever. But it doesn't need, it's been weird in this district because you guys had a general manager and it's been outside the purview of kind of the engineer and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
In this transition, bear with us a little bit
Oh, yeah.
as we're trying to kind of iron things out. But typically what will happen is they can come to me or they can go to Keith and I'll forward them to Keith and say, hey, take a look at this, make sure you guys are good with it. And they'll say, yeah, we're good with it. And I'll give you
Yeah.
a formal approval letter or whatnot.
Well, I'm an architect, so I understand that
Yeah,
process.
yeah. Gotcha.
Don't wanna.
Yeah, no. The emails that the Richard forwarded to me, I was like, I don't know what a drainage study report is for a pool. So we were on a little bit of the confused side of that.
No, the ACC just needs proof. But
Gotcha. That they've
hold on.
submitted appropriately for the taps and sewage connection as needed for backwash systems and things like that. I don't think that's an issue whatsoever.
In the past, Richard has gone out and inspected. I know there is one especially that we recently had, and they were going to drain the pool in the wrong
Gotcha.
location, and then he told them no. So
I think-
how are we handling that now?
I think and correct me if I'm wrong, you guys inspect all taps and you have to actually make the taps, is that correct?
Yeah, so on the water side, so if someone's needing new water service, they would submit the request.
Well, that's for new, is that for, I'm talking pools.
Well, right.
Pools.
Okay.
Rate
If there's-
order
if there's-
requires.
If there's water connection required, we're gonna perform the actual connection. If there's an existing service there and you wanna add a pool, typically, what that's gonna trigger is obviously if there's a new sanitary sewer connection, we're gonna wanna inspect the connection. We're not gonna complete the sanitary sewer tap, we're gonna wanna inspect it prior to it being backfilled. And then in addition to that, once we're alerted of the construction of a pool, whatever else, we're gonna wanna do a CSI inspection to make sure that there's no cross connection, that you've got proper backflow prevention, so on and so forth. So, there's certainly some inspections that will follow. And to his point, on the water side, we're gonna look to make the actual connection. On the sewer side, we're gonna want to just see the connection and inspect it.
And basically what we're looking for is that you're aware of it and that you're gonna take care of your part.
Gotcha,
Right.
gotcha, yeah.
What about
That,
the one that's out there now? There's somebody posting that they came up here and
Well, I think
nobody answered.
I think it's because they got the request for the wrong thing.
Right.
yeah,
And I've seen several, there's been like 3 or 4 over the last few months, and it just gets to me that, they want to surface drain pools. They're not supposed to surface drain pools in the state of Texas. That's contaminating our groundwater. They've got to actually hit a sewer line or a storm line, whatever the MUD district says, but our deed restrictions and stuff say that it has to hit the sewer line.
Gotcha.
It can't go into the storm. So I just want to get this clarified, because I'm tired of seeing it on Facebook, and I've had a couple of calls because people know what I do for a living, and it's just.
Is that always fun? So historically, ponds used to have an old backwashing system that actually did have to flush into the sanitary and went they back. With the new cartridge systems, they're supposed to be self-containing, and I know that's not completely true, but they're supposed to be self-containing, and in essence, you're not supposed to drain a pool. It's supposed to stay filled year-round, end over end, and that's how it's worked in most of our districts. Seems like in this district, you guys are having a little bit of a different issue with that, people draining inappropriately.
Well, they're not building they're not all building those pools, because we just
Right.
recently approved one.
But what about overflow on those pools?
Yeah.
Yeah, overflow
So-
too.
Overflow, and I was looking at the rules and regulations, overflow is 10 typically, because it's so minimal, they're able to outfall into a ditch or things like that, which is also considered the storm sewer in y'all's scenario. So it has to be piped to a not a navigable waterway, but a waterway in which storm sewer flows. And so they would need to run it to the front ditch or things like that, or if they have access to
And
the
so
back
the
ditch.
district's okay with them backflowing water, contaminated
And
water,
water
with
in-
bacteria in it into the ditch?
It would be the same as it was flowing into the storm sewer, and storm
Okay.
sewer is an appropriate
But-
connection.
Yeah, but our ACG guidelines state that it has to be connected to the sewer line.
If that's the case, then it may be worthwhile for you guys to work with the board to adopt similar language so that we're not
Right.
fighting each other, but you guys being the direct influence, and correct me if I'm wrong, Davis, but you guys being the direct contact with them would have some sort of jurisdiction saying, no, you have to connect to the sanitary. Once they get that, then you would need approval from us saying they're connecting to the sanitary for their overflow.
Okay.
And if that's the case, I know this information now, we can go back to the pool builders and say, look, you guys aren't connecting appropriately to your overflows. Based off of y'all's regulations, it requires this, you have to
Page
meet.
15, about midway down the page, it says we need to connect to the sewer line.
She probably could, tell
And
the
let me just
chief.
add that no one can connect any district lines without district approval,
Right.
right? So,
But the impression that some of our homeowners are getting from what they told me from the MUD is that they don't have to connect at all. That they don't have to connect anything to the sewer lines, that they could just drain them out on the surface, and that's how they're doing it. And I know that's a big no-no.
right, and that's an HOA rule, right? That
Yeah.
It's also
requires
environmentally
connection,
unsafe.
and
Yeah.
we inspect and ensure that connections made properly. And I don't think we should have any issue providing documentation of a TAP request or
Okay.
inspection, so.
Here's my card.
Okay, yeah,
If either of you have any questions,
Thanks.
don't have my number already, feel free to contact me about it. And yeah, we can certainly get this resolved. I do apologize, like, I just got them in this week and
It's okay.
the emails I got were very confusing.
We were all confused too.
Yeah. Drainage study reports,
That's
I'm
one
like,
of the
I
reasons
don't.
I'm sitting here asking the question.
So yeah, it sounds like it's just communication wise, we'll get it straightened out and stop delaying people and make sure that they're tying in appropriately.
Okay.
Okay,
So can I interject?
or not
Wendy,
tying it at all.
You have a deadline, correct?
Each homeowner has 30 days, each homeowner before submitting their request is asked to submit this from the MUD.
Okay.
Then
so
once
it's
they
before
submit it, then we can go back, if they did not give all the documents, we can go back and request those documents.
Gotcha.
So,
Okay,
um,
yeah, so, I mean, first thing tomorrow, hopefully, but first thing next
Yeah.
week, we'll get on it and me and Keith will work
Okay.
it out between the two of us and his review department's great. And we'll get it all figured out.
okay, thanks.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. Anyone else that didn't sign in that wants to speak? Okay. All right, number 3 on the agenda, approve certificates of election. I guess we'll do that first. Approve qualifications of newly elected directors, accept oaths and statements of elected officials, and Public Information Act training, conflicts of disclosure. Okay, so,
I'll just say that Carl, Tim, and Julie have been elected to serve 4-year terms on the board. Really sorry to see you go, Mark. Thanks for all your many years of service to the district. So, but now is the time. This is obviously the first meeting after Election Day. And so at this point, we need to take action to approve those certificates of election and qualification documents. Carl, you can look in your service as a member of the board. So congratulations.
okay. Do we need it?
Carl. Thank you. So I didn't sign the papers now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Do we need to take the oath of office for the 3 of us? Or do we want to wait till
You
all
can
4
allow
of
if you
us?
prefer, but it is prepared for signature.
Okay.
So, if everyone will just execute
Just
those
sign it.
documents.
Okay.
That's all that's required in the motion to approve the certificates of election.
So, Julie, while you're signing that, I just wanted to tell Mark on behalf of the RPCIA and the community, we want to thank you for your service and all that you've done. We hope that you have a great retirement, whatever you're going to go do.
It's coming soon.
So you'll have to tell us what day you retire, so we can all be on that plane and make fun of you, heckle you.
Well, they'll give you one of those
Yeah.
fire
fly
hose,
in.
they fly in and do all that.
I may fall in sick tomorrow, that's why.
Okay, so number 4 is the order appoint, oh, wait a minute,
If we could get a motion to approve the certificates.
okay,
That'd be great.
okay. Do I have a motion
I
to
make
approve
the
the
motion.
certificates?
I
Want
move.
to go-
You
Okay.
do gotta be.
I
Okay,
My last
second.
act.
Second, okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay,
See ya.
see ya.
Thank
You gonna stick
Mark.
around for the rest of the meeting?
Yeah.
Thank you, Mark.
All right.
Thanks, Mark.
Welcome to the public side, sir.
All right, number 4, order appointing appointing director, okay? Last month, we had a, well, actually, it wasn't last month, it was this month. We had a special meeting discussing, no, it was last month, when the
May
3 of
4th.
them stood up. No,
May 4th.
when they introduced themselves,
Wasn't that May 4th?
I don't know, whenever.
May the 4th.
Anyway, we had a meeting where 3 people applied for the open vacancy on the board. We had Mark Denham, Reed Watson, and Betty Brown, and they all gave us their background, their history, and I, for one, was very impressed with all 3. So, amazingly, I found out a lot of things about people I didn't know. So, and I think as a board, we decided Betty was the best candidate. So, do we need to vote? We need to vote to approve Betty as the,
Yes, today is the opportunity to actually make the decision and to appoint Betty, and we have prepared documents that are included in your meeting packet to allow you to do so. So,
okay, do I have a motion to appoint Betty?
Do we vote on it first, or do we?
Well, that's,
make a motion?
okay.
Motion.
Do we
Do we-
swear Carl in first so he can vote, or what?
Well,
Carl is in.
he just got in. He signed the certificate of election.
Okay.
Even though I didn't sign my oath.
Well, sign
Okay.
it. Sign it so you can vote. So, okay. All right. Then, do we need to vote on Betty, or do we need to just,
We do.
okay,
We do. We need to vote to appoint Betty to serve the remainder of the unexpired term that was created by Gerard's resolution.
which is 2
May
years?
24th.
2 years?
May 24th.
May of 24,
That's-
2
that's-
years, okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
almost exactly 2 years.
okay, all right. So who wants to, well, I guess, how do we start out a vote?
I make a motion that we vote on approving Betty Brown as the replacement board member
For the unexpired term,
for the unexpired term.
okay, all right. Okay,
I'm abstaining because I did not see
he
anybody.
didn't, he wasn't here when they gave their
Oh,
seats, so, okay.
Second.
So we'll
You
let
second.
you do that one. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Welcome to the board, Betty. Oh, cool. Come on
Congratulations,
up.
Betty.
There's a seat for you.
Oh, really? Already? It's the same. Oh, you gotta hit the ground running here. Okay. Okay, so, election of officers.
Thank
Who
wants to-
thank all of them for applying.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys. Learned a lot about you guys, so,
And we want you all to stay available for the next election.
yes. Yeah. Or if we have a vacancy in between, so, yes.
I I think it would be best for us to have a president, a vice president, a secretary, and an assistant secretary.
I think that's a good idea, and a treasurer. Okay, I think that's a very good idea. All right, do we have any nominations for, which way do we want to start, top or bottom?
Are we through with Betty first?
Yeah.
She's officially a board member now?
You're stuck with her.
All right. We got her. No. All right, so any nominations for any positions?
I nominate Julie for president.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks. Okay, let's work our way down then. Vice President, any nominations? Tim? Tim Goodman. Okay, I'll second Tim. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Secretary? Anybody want to be secretary?
You want to be secretary?
That's sexist.
Huh?
That's sexist.
It is, I asked her a question.
I'm not sure what I
I nominate Betty
You
Brown.
heard of a male secretary?
I second that.
Yeah.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. What about assistant secretary? That might be called upon.
That might be my job.
We've seen they've been called upon.
You want to be assistant secretary?
You want to be assistant secretary or treasurer?
No.
That's the only two left.
I'm glad I can get treasurer.
I don't know.
Let's make Carl assistant secretary, or I will nominate Carl as assistant secretary.
I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Tom, you're treasurer now, right? Aren't you
Yeah.
treasurer now? Okay,
She-
then I'll nominate Tom as treasurer.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That way he already knows what's going on.
I already finished school.
Nothing, no offense against you, but he already knows what's going on, so, okay. All right.
So everybody start taking notes now?
That's gonna be recorded.
Somebody's doing that up there.
No, back there. All right, amendment to the statement of directors.
Okay, the statement of directors is the document that is filed in the real property records that provides notice to any purchasers of property or anyone doing title research of the district's existence and general information about the district. One of the things that it includes is any outstanding bonds or remaining authorized but unissued bonds. We had a successful bond closing this morning, and that will be reflected in your bookkeeper's report next month. And we also have some new directors and new director terms. So we just need to update that document as required by law, and we'll just ask that you approve the amendment to statement of directors for compliance purposes.
Do I have a motion to approve the amendment to the statement of directors?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
That's it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
There you go, Davis.
Perfect, thank you very much. And
Okay.
I'll just remind everyone that everyone has to sign the amendment to statement of directors, so
Okay.
appreciate your help.
No problem. Bookkeepers reports, tax assessor collector reports. Okay. You did that? Okay, let me get there now. You can have mine. I think I've got some things circled on it, so. Yep. That's for you. You need to, sign some things in there and return them to Carol, her part's in there. So, it's like a W-4 and you need to email them to her. So, I think I've got some things circled in there, so if you get to that point, we'll get there, so. Okay, so, oh, you got extras? Thank you. Okay. Now I gotta remember what I circled. What did I circle? Here, let me give you this one. Give me mine back where I circled it. Okay. Okay. Wow, Texas class has gone up to almost a little bit under 1% interest.
And actually, something I wanted to comment really quickly,
Okay.
because we had discussed last month about maybe investing in CDs.
Right.
We're actually holding off on doing that because the banks have not quite caught up to interest increase. So and you'll see your balances are kind of high in the checking, those funds
Right.
have actually been moved out.
Okay,
You'll see it next month,
okay.
but they have been moved into Texas
Texas
class.
class?
And for the time being, because they are anticipating the interest to actually even go up to 1%, maybe even
Ooh.
by 2%
Wow.
at some point. So we will keep the excess in the Texas class, and I will keep you updated as far as in the CDs and any recommendations to invest in those when we feel like it's a good time.
Okay,
Okay.
good. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. I'll start since I have some questions on here. Do you have a copy? Or do you want a copy?
Is that an actual copy there?
No, this is a meter, but can she get a copy?
Which one?
Apparently I spoke before, Betty.
Which way?
I don't think she has any of them.
Okay.
So I'm gonna ask, and this may be a question for you, Carol, before you leave. So, is East Plantation, did we just bill them late, or are they all typically 5 months behind in payments?
They have a new bookkeeper, so I think it's just been delayed in receiving a part of their transition.
Okay.
I was a previous bookkeeper for East Plantation, and I'm not anymore.
Okay.
Did we lose connection there?
Oh.
Oh, we
Sure
connected.
Oh. Sorry.
What
I
happened?
wasn't even paying attention.
Where'd they go?
Should be, if you get, you can go back to my emails.
Okay, here it is.
Oh, there it is, okay.
The TV. Davis, can you still hear us?
I got you loud and clear.
Okay, we've lost you here on the
Big screen.
TV.
It looks like you went to Hawaii.
Yeah. It should be. Yeah. That's what we like together.
Y'all can keep going.
Okay.
He can still hear you.
All right.
guys.
Okay, I think that
Richard went
was,
to check in his computer, that's the one that's running.
So East
Oh, really?
Plantation is 5 months
He's right
behind.
there.
no, they weren't.
There it
Oh,
is.
they just paid January and February's bills.
They are caught up now.
They're caught up now?
Okay.
Okay. That's good to hear, so, okay.
I had some questions, but I got my answers already.
Okay, I think that was the only thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
I just want to clarify with the new signs, to see if we paid for those, and those are all up now, right?
For the park.
For the parks, all the new park signs are up?
Yeah.
It says golf carts okay and nothing else.
So why don't you announce what that is, so that everybody that watches us in their spare time at home can get what the new regulation is?
The new rate, I think that, I don't know the exact wording, but I believe it's something like, all vehicles are prohibited except golf carts. As far as using the park, is that basically? what
For the audience at home?
Yeah.
There you go.
That's right. On the path, I think is a good, detail to add.
Yeah, it does say on the pad that it has, the golf cart's supposed to have a licensed driver. I believe.
That's right.
So that we're not, no 5-year-olds driving golf carts.
So are you-
Motorcycles or 4-wheelers.
Are you saying it says only golf carts on the paths? Golf carts are only allowed on paths, or that's every other motor vehicle is prohibited from the paths?
Golf carts are allowed only on the path.
Paths, okay, okay,
So nothing's allowed as far as
outside,
out on the street.
Got it.
I mean,
okay,
On the grass. Good.
okay. I just want to make sure we had it covered.
I didn't mean to get us off track, but I saw those signs. I wanted to
That's
make sure.
okay, so, okay. I think,
And as Davis mentioned, the bonds closed successfully today, so your bookkeeper report will be updated.
okay,
So you'll see all those updates next month. You'll see a capital cost comparison in
okay,
your report, and so I'll be available for questions next month.
okay,
I'm sure you'll probably have a couple,
Okay.
since it's gonna be a new look for y'all, so.
okay. What interest rate did they close at? Is Lauren still on there?
I'm still here. The interest rate was locked on April 28th. So that the low interest rate was 4.23%.
Okay.
Same as when we talked on April 28th.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. I don't have any other questions. I think I'm good. Okay.
I didn't have anything else.
Anybody make a motion to approve the bookkeeper's reports?
I'll make a motion to approve the bookkeeper's reports.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Review of the investments in the tax assessor collector's report. Have a motion to accept those?
I so moved.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Payment of the district's bills. Can I get a motion to approve payment of the district's bills?
Move we approve the bills.
Okay, second?
I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All right, the engineer's report.
Alrighty. So, starting with the permits, the stormwater quality management permit, that annual report we do in 3/31/2023. We passed all of our inspections to date. A couple questions came up, but all that went well. The East Ditch FEMA work I did attach on page 3 is a Texas Division Emergency Management designation of subrecipient agent. This is to designate me as the contact member for that, so that we can get going on that work. And Julia, I have a separate one that I need you to sign. Nothing new on Holly Springs storm sewer televised. The low bidder was ProPipe in the amount of $48,986.55. I do have attached our recommendation of award and bid tab for the board's approval. The Brandon Road sanitary sewer repair, due to the state of the sanitary sewer and manholes, we proceeded with a request of the TCQ for emergency repair with a negotiated bid. I attached that request and the approval for that work from the TCQ. The contractor finished this past weekend, as everybody saw, it's all been paved up and everything. I have not gotten the final bill from them. Last I heard, it was less than 100,000, which was a positive.
Oh, okay.
We thought it was gonna be a little more. We were able to give Richard kudos. We were able to eliminate that manhole, knowing his history in the district, to eliminate that manhole and just connect directly to the sanitary line, which was, manholes are about $15,000 to $20,000 when it comes to that sort of work, removing and replacing one of that depth. So that definitely did save us some time and effort in doing that. So that has been fixed. The East Concrete Ditch de-silt, I met with several contractors. As anybody that's driven by it, it's quite overgrown and pretty excessive. Everyone that I talked to, it's gonna be over $75,000 worth of work. I think in the past, Richard's been able to do it cheaper. I don't know how, as far as contractor works goes. I met with several contractors that I work with on a regular basis. Just the cost of diesel alone is expensive.
Are you doing the vegetation area up on the north end of it?
We're talking the entire ditch.
All the way from, basically from Crichton Ridge down?
Yeah, if you go from the golf course, driving range, all the way down, if you look into that ditch, it's heavily.
That's the concrete though, but then the vegetation part of it is still north of that, it goes all the way to Crichton Ridge.
So that part is what we call the natural section of it, in which we would recommend leaving alone.
It needs to be maintained as well, it's just.
I think it needs to be maintained in the sense of just cleanup, general cleanup, but as far as like really desilting and things like that, I would recommend stick to the concrete section for now. I think you're gonna get more into issues with residents and things of that nature if you were to move into that area.
I disagree, I think we've gotta keep the weeds down.
I don't disagree, but that's more of the proper mowing maintenance and things of that nature versus.
That's the point I'm trying to get.
Yeah.
It's gotta be, that has to be cleared as well. We've had areas up there that get ignored for a long time, and they need to be cleaned periodically.
Right, and I think going forward, I think the district is looking at possibly contracting maintenance contractors such as that nature that would continue to keep this
I would
debris.
accept that, yeah, but
And constant
I will make sure it gets taken care of.
Yes, sir. So, with that being said, we also need to talk to the golf course if it's possible to get some sort of access approval to them maintaining on that side, kind of a 20-foot reserve. that would allow us access to be able to get equipment in there to haul off, that would lessen the value of the project itself, as well. I don't know how well the golf courses worked with you guys in the past. I have no problem reaching out. Would love an ambassador to do that, to be able to talk with them. Because as a whole, it's cleaning up the community, it's allowing better drainage and things of that nature.
And should be helping them too.
Right. You know,
That was my next question is, are you gonna reach out to them or do?
I have no
we need to-
issue reaching out to them, going up to the clubhouse and talking with them. It was just more so if anybody had a personal relationship with the person that you meet on a good
The
foot.
only one would be,
I don't.
Yeah. You meet with somebody on a good foot, with somebody they know, it's sometimes a little bit of an
I
easier
have a relationship with the manager, but not with the owner.
Gotcha. You know, and manager would be great, just as a kicking point to start off with.
I'd be glad to do
Yeah,
that.
would appreciate that. So, going forward, you'll see this come back up in the June meeting as well. I think we need to still wrap our heads completely around it and figure it out. There's also conversation, we have work from the Mosswood ditch that we talked about. Maybe moving that over to the East Plantation now that we're kind of getting some things squared away with the FEMA stuff. We can certainly do that, through resolution or whatever to redirect it. It's for storm sewer work, drainage work, ditch work, and so just basic resolution would allow us to convert it for the district to use bond funds, if we reallocate our focus to that. The great thing about the East Plantation ditch, I know there's areas of it's failing, but it's concrete, it's a little more harbor friendly versus heavy flows and things like that. It's not, although it doesn't look great, it's not actively clogging it up as bad as you may assume it would be.
okay.
So, kind of a long explanation to say that it's a work in progress, and we're trying to figure it out. I do have a recommendation here to request authorization to advertise for the second phase of the sanitary sewer clean and televised. I went ahead and attached a cost estimate based on the bids we received for phase one. That is on page, I'm sorry, I don't have page numbers, I'm terrible about that. 11, for $97,704. That contains contingencies of 20% and engineering of 15%. Those are just ballpark values, especially with how fast things are going up.
Yeah.
And then I also have storm sewer clean and televised for phase 2 as well, and I attached those as the following sheet 12. Twelve, 13, and all the way through 15, and that's 41,353. So with that being said, moving on to the construction projects, the sanitary sewer clean and televised was executed for, I don't know why I said today, that was executed for Monday, I was doing it on Monday. Monday the 23rd, they have been out in the district. If you've gotten phone calls, I apologize. They're actively working. We did post a door hanger to the website notifying who to call. I think Richard had filled one call in the office as far as that is concerned, but they're actively underway, and hopefully we receive those videos by the end of June. And the last thing I would say is for the 10-year CIP, on the very last page, this is all the projects that were from your bond application report. I put kind of a start year and really a quarter of the start year, so the things I was looking to authorize today were the sanitary and storm phase 2, which are summer of 2022. We have those ready to be put up for bid. Phase 3 will follow in the fall, along with the sanitary rehab of phase 1, which would be kind of the clean and televise of phase 1. The fire hydrant survey, sanitary manhole channel survey evaluation were all to be done in the fall. Then you move into the winter, which would follow the sanitary rehab of phase 2, storm rehab phase 1, and then fire hydrant and valve rehabilitation. And then you move into phase 2 and phase 3 of the sanitary rehab, Mosswood ditch, and then at the end of it, I put the facilities. The reason I went ahead and did it a little lengthy out was because I want to give MOC time to evaluate the plants on their own behalf and kind of give us feedback of what's going to help them work better. We know the big things that we've already discussed, outdated electronics and things like that. We don't want to expend funds so fast if there's an immediate thing that needs to be addressed. Although the electronics are outdated and I highly recommend replacing them, if there's something that's majorly needs to be done so that MOC can operate the plant appropriately other than the electronics, I don't want to immediately spend your money on electronics and then be looking at operating funds years down the road before we were able to authorize another contract. So that just gives them some space. My team is ready to go on them as fast as possible, but it just kind of gives us some length at a time of saying, these can last until next year, they'll be okay. The MOC is going to operate the plant, they're going to get familiar with everything, and then they're going to kind of highlight, along with the things we've already pointed out, what is necessary to be done. So, does anybody have any questions over that?
Not over that, but I do have a question.
Absolutely.
Relative to this project we just completed.
Yes, sir.
I would like to find out what our protocol is for change order executions, who has to approve them, what levels they go through, because, you know, we have a responsibility to everybody out here to watch this money, and when we go for $30,000 approved and spending over $100,000, I didn't know a thing about it till it's already spent.
That's right.
And that should not happen.
And I do apologize, I take full responsibility because I did not have your email correct when I sent out the mass email to the directors.
Is there a protocol in place?
When it comes to emergency repairs, such as that, in which it's due to public health and safety and something is discovered as the contractor is working, we try to communicate with the board president in typical fashion. I did send out to all the directors. Obviously, you were excluded, and I apologize for that. That was not the intent, saying this is what we're gonna have to do.
Well, it worked, you got my attention.
This is what we're gonna have to do. On a typical construction project, all change orders are presented to you guys prior to the work being executed. So if in the clean and televise thing, we ran into an issue where we needed to really clean and televise, let's just say another 300 linear foot or something like that, that would cause additional funds to the board, that was greater than what I deemed necessary of a normal overrun, meaning that we were just slightly off in our estimates, we would bring it to the board and say, this is our recommendation, the reason for the change order would be such that this item arose during construction and it needs to be done. We've seen change orders as price increases, in which we usually try to fight, you know, on the board's behalf, but things like that have come up with recent inflation issues. There's sometimes that your engineer makes mistakes, and I take full ownership for it, you know, whereas something was left off of a bid document.
You're gonna have a lot of problems with this, because there are problems, it's gonna be hard to get the scope of work right, that's gonna be the
Yeah,
issue.
and that's, I mean, we are actively trying our best to get the scope of work.
I know, and I know, I don't envy you that, because I know it's a difficult, but I'm thinking we should
to
sit.
expect if we're gonna find some urgent issues, hopefully not many, as we do this cleaning and televising.
Yeah.
And we'll just have to, you know, do our best to
I would like to propose that we set up an oversight committee, maybe comprised with 2 directors. And I would recommend to the president, vice president to approve any change orders, because 2, we can do it, and they can approve them, and then through a third party, MO or through you, could notify the rest of us of what, keep us abreast of what's going on.
So what we've seen in the past, and I'm sure Davis will agree with this, is that there's usually an approval rate up to a certain amount.
That's what I'm suggesting.
Yeah, sometimes it's 10,000 for one director, 15,000 for 2 directors, and then anything over that, it needs to be a board meeting.
Yeah. Well, we have to have a board meeting if it gets over, in my mind, if it gets over 40,000, but.
Yeah.
In 75, it's gotta go to bid.
Yeah, so in the brand.
If I can step in real quick, just before we adopt some policy, let me just say that, you know, generally, the practice is to contact the board president, and if there is a significant repair that warrants an emergency meeting of some kind, to have an emergency meeting, and that any sort of direction is going to be largely based on the scope of the work, right? So if we're in there doing $1 million, you know, rehab project on the wastewater treatment plant, and we come across a problem and there's something that needs to be addressed, you know, it could be, you know, $50,000 could, you know, be a small addition to a project like that, if that makes sense. So I don't know that it's a great idea to adopt not in a situation like this very often. And candidly, I think that most of the time when issues like this come up, it's going to be more with your operator than it is with your engineer. And it's going to be work that, has to be done to keep the system operational. And it's not really discretionary, I guess I would say. I don't know that there's really a decision to be made if, you want to.
Well, that's not my point. I'm glad the project was finished, and I'm glad it was done right. But I think that we have to keep an eye on the money, and if it's gonna be expended, we need to know about it. So, do we use percentages, do we use money, but we have to have some kind of oversight and communication, in my opinion.
Sure.
Yeah, we just can't, it just can't be something that holds up work, because
I'm not
remember, we're
trying-
paying
we
them
could
for
have-
every day they're on the
We could have an
job.
emergency meeting in 2 hours, but that's not my point. We don't need that till you get to 40, 50,000, 75,000, something like that. But you do need, when you have change orders, and you, like in this case, when you go 400 or 500% of what we approved, then the directors need to have some input. If we have an oversight committee that we have confidence in, that's gonna control that, and then it's communicated to the rest of us in a timely fashion, then I don't have a problem. But if it's done like this last one, where I'm sitting there, I'm seeing this money going out the door, and I'm not knowing where it's coming from and who's approving it, and I'm saying, wait a minute, this ain't right.
And I will say,
I know it was a mistake, but you understand where I'm
no,
going?
I completely understand. I will say in this scenario, just to explain to everybody what happened, the sanitary line was evaluated. The line coming to it was surcharged, meaning that it was submerged the lines, and so they weren't visually inspectable. And it was found that the incoming pipe was lower than the outgoing pipe by a substantial amount. Yeah, meaning that the line had to back up in order to be able to overflow into the existing line. Additionally, which means we needed to lower that line for it to operate properly. By doing that, the manhole in the middle of the road was a fiberglass manhole, which is not typically done in a roadway. Typically they're brick or concrete. And it had deteriorated such that if you tied into the bottom of it with a new tie-in, it was going to completely destroy the manhole, which is what happened and why we had to replace that manhole in an emergency fashion. So in this particular job, it spiraled out of control more so than we would normally see. Normally when we have one of these, we do a full evaluation in 2 days to say, and we come to the board and say, hey, you're needing an emergency repair, it's gonna cost $100,000, and we always overestimate. This was a weird scenario where we were able to have time to solicit bids, and then it kind of spiraled out of control in an emergency standpoint that they had pulled the line and things like that. We
You
do
were
our
gonna
best
have
to.
homes that weren't gonna have
I understand that.
sewer.
I don't have a problem with what we did, I'm just.
Yeah, and I agree with you, and I have no problem calling everybody, whatever it may be. Obviously, mistake made leaving you off the line, and I don't know if it would have made any of the difference had you
I'd
been.
have probably approved it anyway.
Well, yeah, I know, but I can understand from your standpoint, it came as a complete surprise when you thought we were spending $30,000, and then I sent out my report, and you sent me an email going, why the hell does it say $170,000? And I look back at my email and just like an moment, like, Tom's not on the email,
And he's not a happy camper.
Yeah, right, yeah. And Tom's cursing me, it's not, but the typical protocol is to contact everybody, let them know what's going on.
Okay, so we technically, if I'm hearing this right, we really don't have a set protocol, we don't have any oversight. And you guys are recommending we don't go that direction at this point.
Well, our oversight is the engineers, and my theory has always been, and I've said this from the very beginning, if we have professionals working for us, we either trust them or we don't, and if we don't trust them, it's time to get rid of them. So, we either trust their judgment or we don't trust their judgment. So, I mean, sometimes there's gonna have to be, in my opinion, emergency decisions made.
Yeah, but we need to be abreast of it, and directors, you particularly as the president have to be involved in it.
And I do, Taylor and I were talking.
Yeah,
I knew
and
what was
everybody
going
at
on.
this table needs to be kept abreast of
And
it,
Richard
one
and I
way
were
or another.
talking, so, yeah.
I think it's a well-made point, Tom, and I think really just something to think about more than anything on whether or not a special meeting is warranted, just to kind of update everyone, because that's really your only opportunity as a board to discuss things.
Yeah, I know, that's the problem.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I'll just tell you from experience, the reason I hate for boards to try and adopt a policy is because you will run into a situation where you have an emergency repair that violates your policy, right? Where your well goes down, or you have some sort of serious issue that has to be addressed. and the operator is sitting there going, can I put the water system back online? Because it's gonna cost more than, $30,000. And I just don't want you to run into a situation like that.
Or am I one of those five
I don't want
houses that
it
doesn't
that
have
tight
sewer?
either.
Yeah.
But, like I said, we still have to have that accountability there.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, in general, on these projects, has the district gone for grants on these and pursued grants, federal grants, or
Tim and I
what's out there?
have broached that 2 or 3 times, and it's a
Certain
well
times of the
that's
year.
really deep, I gotta tell you.
Sure.
You have to have somebody that knows how to write grants, you have
So
to.
have you looked into hiring?
And they're
any-
only,
Have
well,
you looked into hiring a grant writer?
Yeah, we did, it's quite expensive. We went, where did we go? We went way up
She
north.
was Lufkin.
Yeah, we went to Lufkin and met with a guy that's real good at it,
He's real expensive
He
too.
was, I thought he'd be a great idea,
Couldn't
but
find anything.
the cost was exorbitant, and then you still have a guarantee. I mean, I think it's a great idea if you can get it.
Right, I mean, it's been $100,000 for a grant, and you get $300,000, you save everybody a bunch
Yeah.
of money.
Yeah, if you don't
Yeah.
go after it, go after it. I'm good. We've been there.
we'll let you pursue it.
We won't stop
No.
you. Matter of fact, we will encourage you.
Right.
That's right. We've all been down that road, so, yep. So,
But we're just telling you, it's a roller coaster road that goes round and round and round. And don't try to ride one yourself unless you,
Oh, I
that's a
understand.
real, Tim and I tried that too, and it's a losing battle.
thanks, Steve.
With all that being said, I need.
Oh, we need,
Yeah, sorry.
approve those bids.
Approval for the FEMA work designation of subrecipient, the storm sewer phase 2, awarding that bid in the amount of $48,986.55 to ProPipe, who is also doing the sanitary sewer repair. Authorize us to bid the clean and televise for phase 2 of the sanitary, authorize us to bid the storm sewer televised phase 2 as well.
Okay, do I have a motion to, first of all, designate Taylor as the, what was it, something agent?
The
I'm willing to,
Texas Division of Emergency Management designation of subrecipient agent.
There you go.
yeah.
Okay.
I think he gets started.
Okay, do I have
I
a
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Do I have a motion to accept the bid from ProPipe to work on the storm sewer televised?
Is that a bid or is that?
No, that's the bid he got, the low bid, they were,
That is
or they
the
were
bid?
bid at the one for 48,000.
Yes, that's an advertised bid of
Yeah, I
$48,960.
would say go forward on it. I make that motion, yes.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Second, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. The concrete ditch,
Nothing new, nothing
Oh.
on Concord Ditch, the
Okay.
sanitary sewer clean and televised to
Okay.
authorize advertising bid
okay.
for the second phase.
Do I have a motion to authorize Taylor Advertising go forward with the
I'll move.
bid for
I'll
the
make that
sanitary
motion.
sewer? Okay, second? Second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And are you ready to go with the storm sewer?
Yes, storm sewer's
Okay.
ready to
I
go.
have a question for you too, just a little different. You said you guys are ready to go forward. Now, with the economy and the way things are going right now, I can see where we may not have enough money even to do, we thought we had more than enough, but with the economy going the way it is. So my question to everybody at this table and out there, should we try to move faster before rates go up? I mean, we already are in trouble with diesel fuel, we're already in trouble with gasoline, even the supply chains are down. So what's the right move for us? Do we try to expedite as much as we can get going now? I'd like to get your input too, or should we should we kind of hold back? I mean, is there a play there that somebody has some input that we should do?
If I knew how the economy was gonna go, I would not be in this business, to be honest.
No,
with you.
none of us would, but I'm concerned we're going into an inflationary period, and, and the next thing we're gonna be in is a recession. Either one of those or both of those are gonna mean that we probably don't have enough funds with what we just got to do what we wanted to do.
Or won't be able to get the
Unless,
materials we need.
unless we could expedite it quick enough that we could get most of it done before those rates go crazier, I should say. And I don't know what the right way is. I'm asking for help here. Should we be talking trying to expedite? What?
All I would add as far as operations, I mean, our intention is to hit the ground running. We'll be completing the transition next week. We'll be in the facilities. We have every intention of working with your engineer right out the gate. I don't want to come and make quick assessments and recommendations as to what we think may need to be done. I want to make sure that we understand what we're dealing with and what's the ultimate solution, the right solution. So,
Well, I'm thinking right now, like the storm drains, those are all fairly straightforward. We probably ought to get as many trucks running as we can and get those knocked out before it gets even worse.
Well, it also becomes a matter of time and manpower though, right?
Right,
Correct.
look, we're gonna meet you guys' demands, so
But you know what I'm saying?
if that's what you guys.
I agree.
With
I mean,
fuel going up at the rate it's going up, and that's what,
We can certainly look, so the storm sewer will be the last phase of the storm sewer, but we can certainly combine the sanitary into just a secondary phase for you guys. And then once we get the videos back for phase one, we would probably recommend starting a sanitary phase two rehab. Our phase one rehabilitation, and then what we can do is a phase two where we can combine phase two and phase three as they're on the budgets, and just keep going that route. Both of those are good to go if you guys are ready to go with them, and that's why I did make that statement, was to say that my team is geared up, ready to go. Sometimes you don't wanna go and say, hey, we're gonna do all of this work right away. It has a tendency to scare people.
I think it's gonna be to our
I was gonna
advantage
say,
right now.
you gotta worry about how the neighborhood's gonna.
Accelerate the process.
That's what
Trucks
I'm
coming
saying.
in and out, trucks coming in and out.
Yeah.
It's probably worth noting as well that we have compressed the schedule greatly from the point of bond authorization to today. So you guys, remember you authorized starting some of this design and teeing some of this work up before we even close the bond sale. And that's why, Taylor's here with prices today to start on the phase one of televising. So, I think to date, you've done a great job compressing that schedule, so.
And I think we might need to do it more. That's my thoughts, but I want input from everybody.
I mean, look, you guys authorized sanitary phase two. If you're telling me you want sanitary phase two to be the last phase, then we certainly can move forward in that direction.
I'd like to keep going, just keep them like a constant while
What
we can.
would, if we went ahead and authorized phase two to televise it now, would that not save us some money?
He's gotta get bids.
Well, I know that,
Yeah.
but if he started looking at phase two now, while we're phase one starting, there are already gonna be people here. Possibly we can take advantage of that, and we can hopefully get ahead of the curve as far as the fuel costs and things are going.
Yeah, I mean, because of the value of what combining the two would be, we have to do a public bid regardless. We did phase one in a smaller amount because we were doing it before bond authorization, and we didn't want to put you guys in a weird hole situation. And that one ended up coming up lower than our estimate, which was awesome. The next one doing the remainder of the system is not, so we would end up with a different contractor potentially in here. Obviously, now that this contractor knows everything about the district, he's gonna be a favorable bid of ours. And he's gonna have a bidding advantage because he knows historically how the district works and things of that nature, but it's not a guarantee. So you're not saving money on the contractor side of it, you may be saving a little bit of money on the advertisement side of it, and it's really just about $1,000 as far as that goes. Engineering side of it, it's about the same. One hand, 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other. But again, I have no problem moving forward saying phase two is gonna be the last phase of clean and televised. When you get into the rehab work, it gets a little more complex because it becomes a community thing. if you have $1 million worth of rehab work that you're doing and it's everybody in the community being affected, I don't think this room is big enough to fit the amount of people that we might.
That would be coming in and
Well, at
complaining.
least they can't say we're not doing what they.
Right. As energetic as the RP community seems to be, we will certainly have our fair share of homeowners who may not be happy with the construction going on. With that being said,
I honestly disagree. I think if we communicate with them right, I think
Yep.
most of them will be happy with it, because that's what they wanted. They wanted infrastructure fixed, and I think we need to go at it as quickly as we can.
I think that's a good move. If you guys are willing to go with it, let's move sanitary phase 2 to be the last fair. It's a clean and televised, and then in June, I will have a recommendation of a bunch more work, ready to go that we can.
I think sanitary too,
Which will be.
and all these storm drain.
Yeah.
At least get an idea of what we're
manholes
looking
or
at.
whatever they
At
are.
least we'll have an idea of what the rehab phase is gonna
Right.
look like. So, yeah, we'll compress the schedule in that route, and I'll also have the ditch work gearing up, ready to go. I still think it's better to do it in fall or winter after hurricane season, just because you then don't get rain delays, and when you're dealing with storm drainage systems, you don't wanna inadvertently affect them, by having construction equipment in the way and things like that, you know, depending on what they have to do to clean them, so. But we'll have proposals ready to go.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't believe you approved the storm
Storm
sewer
sewer
televised
number
phase 2 yet.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve storm sewer televised phase 2?
Yeah, I do. I make that motion.
Okay, do I have a second?
Carl second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Oh, we got a long list here. Okay. You're not ready to go yet, we got a little list.
Sounds like he's done with the engineering. I'm good now.
Well, you're not good yet, because we may need you for this one.
Uh-oh.
Consider future green space projects.
Yes,
You put it on the agenda, right?
yes, I did.
What does that mean?
I think we need to come up with a list of, say, the top 5 items that we want to do for the green space.
Mow it.
We've got the money approved, other than mowing it. We got the money approved, and we need to take some action on it and get the work done. So I've got some ideas on things that we should prioritize. I know we've talked about fixing the cart paths. I think that's a priority, big time. We don't want anybody tripping over that or having a problem with their golf cart hitting it wrong.
I agree, because I'm on a golf cart and I can see where it's very.
And we wouldn't want the
uneven.
dirt bike guy having that problem.
Oh, yeah.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
The cart paths, I walk them every day. And there's like maybe 5 spots on the cart path, the whole deal, that I would say you have to fix.
So we just pull up, because
I mean, I'm
I
saying
don't think
there's-
I've ever been on the cart path. Can you just cut out a section of it?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
there's
Section.
just
You did
parts
that
of
on
it,
first last year.
Okay.
Yeah,
yeah, there's just parts of it that you need to pull out to replace.
yeah,
Okay.
it's easy done. The swimming pool, I think, should be the first priority.
Yes,
The pool by the club.
community,
Club.
yeah.
Okay.
It says a cesspool right now. Somebody's gonna fall in it, somebody's been drowned,
Okay.
you got mosquitoes. I would put that on the top of the list.
Let's
Okay.
read it and see if it'll pop up.
That's on the list.
It's
It's on my
your
list.
It's on
Yeah.
your list? Okay.
Park benches, I know we've talked about putting park benches along the cart path. And I found some online that we could buy that would be a great idea to install them and offer them to the public to dedicate.
I think that's a great idea, I'll buy it now. I
Yeah.
thought about that too last year.
And you can get a plaque on there to dedicate
Mm-hmm.
a specific bench to whoever you want to dedicate it to.
Well, one I love.
That's right, to the one you love. And then the swimming pool is on the list also.
Well, you know, I think, now this might bring Taylor back into it, but I think before we can do anything around that pool, we need to get a good survey of exactly what's ours and what's not ours. Because there's, if I'm reading it right, there's a small section by the pool that belongs to the golf course still, and it doesn't belong to us. And I know on the MCAD, they list the swimming pool under his stuff, but it's actually in our property.
Yes,
You know, so I think we need a good survey done so that there's no questions about we're working on our properties and not his.
So the dam was cooperative.
If that makes sense.
I think that's a good idea. I know that we've got 24 parking places.
Yeah, something like that, but
That, something like that, that we should paint and sign appropriately that says that it's property of the MUD.
yeah, I don't think the MUD should restrict the use of it, but, you know.
Not necessarily
we don't wanna
restrict the
take
use
that,
of it.
But everybody needs to know what's ours and what's not.
Correct.
That's, how hard is that? Is that a big thing that we're asking?
As far as restriping a parking lot?
No, I
Survey?
I
Give a
want
survey.
to identify,
possible.
Survey, oh.
to identify what actually belongs to the MUD and what belongs to the country
Gotcha.
club.
Dennis, I would assume a land title survey happened for the sale of the land.
Yeah, we have a description, we can get it to you, so.
If you'll get us a description, it'll be a pretty simple proposal for them to put it into CAD for us, and so that we can create an exhibit showing.
Yeah, I would like to see that, something that we can, say, this is ours.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't wanna put a bunch of money in that pool and then him run over here and say, oh, good, you did a good job, I like it, it's mine.
I agree.
You know, and we don't want that.
No, I agree with that. I agree with that.
So, I don't I think it's ours, I think there's no question, but I want proof before we spend
And
money.
there's a
the
lot
parking
of
spaces.
Conflict on MCAD.
Yes.
There's a lot of conflict on
Yeah,
MCAD.
I've looked at that. Well, if you look at the MCAD thing, you see that supposedly the CIA owns our, well, one site,
Right.
and they don't own where the CIA building is.
Right.
You know, so, it's weird.
According to the county, according to the county,
MCAD's not very accurate.
no, according to the county
The county's
commissioner,
one that's wrong,
the-
though, I think.
according to the county commissioner, MCAT is a privately owned company and it is not correct.
Yeah, it's not
yeah.
correct, but I wanna know, like I said, before I start spending money on stuff, I wanna know it's ours.
Right.
Absolutely.
Didn't we, Paul, didn't we have to have a survey done when we did the condemnation?
That's what we were just talking about.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, yes,
I
sorry,
stepped
you're right
out.
there. Yes, yes.
Sorry.
We just talked about it.
Okay.
Well, yeah, but let me give you a precise answer. A survey of 71 acres is a costly sum. And
No, I
so
don't-
what we did is we pulled surveys from various deeds in the deed records and just used those to save y'all a bunch of money. So that's what we have is a legitimate way to do it, and that's what would be inputted into AutoCAD. But we don't have something current or new that we did just for the case.
Yeah, I don't think we need to do the whole 71 acres. I think the question part is where the pool is, where the old hole number 1 and number 9 are. There's, from everything I can see, he possibly owns part of the grass area up around the drive, there in front of the country club and by the swimming pool. But we supposedly own the swimming pool, you know, and I want to know for sure before we spend money and everything else that this is ours and this is his. Yeah.
I mean, it's free to get a proposal from our surveyor. I'll get a proposal for a boundary survey for the 71 acres, and then.
Well, we don't need the whole thing, it's just that part.
Correct. I'll get the boundary survey proposal, and then I'll narrow it down to that specific location as well to see
Yeah.
what the difference is, and it may.
Right.
Yeah, which parking spaces are
Yeah,
ours, because that,
and then we'll also see what Paul's team has as far as different egressors to the tracks, and it may be something that the surveyor can go, oh, we can put that into AutoCAD, no problem. And if it's 90% correct, it's probably gonna be a lot more correct than MCAD from the sound of it. And from there, we can make an assessment to go, well, this is accurate enough, or this is not accurate enough, we need to go the full route.
okay.
So, yeah, we'll certainly chase down both of those.
You-
Okay.
We kinda got away on. You're
Okay.
got away.
That's all right, that's all right.
That's fine.
And then the last thing that I had on my short list was getting a fountain working in the pond that, on
Yeah.
River Plantation. I know that there's been one in the past and it clogged and we had various issues with it, but I would like to see a real effort to get a fountain in that pond.
Before
Can
you
you
can
buy
do,
pumps now?
we still have the one that was there, but before you can do that, you have to be able to fill it when it gets low, and you don't have a way to do that right now.
And you gotta keep the algae out of it. That would,
And it was getting clogged because it needs to be cleaned out.
did you know, that was not, it wasn't that expensive one, like the ones they've got down here in front of the clubhouse. Those have those big impellers that are metal and they cut the stuff up and get it out of the way. The one we had would just clog up. Yeah,
Well, it's because it didn't have the correct screen around it.
well,
It needs-
that might
it
be
needs-
part of it.
yeah. But before you can do all of that, there's so
But
much
that's-
in there that
We
when
have to
it
clean
gets
it
low,
anyway.
it sucks it up into the screen even.
But I think at some point, to your point, some point, we need to look at how can we set an automatic fill up for that? Because I mean, we have.
There's
these
one
little
there,
waters
but
out.
it's not being used.
How can we water some of this stuff? I mean, we should.
Is it part of the gray water?
We water all the golf course with the affluent water,
Well, I know
and it's
that.
free to them.
But that's my idea, so,
Don't like all of those.
okay?
What's the procedure to do this?
Maybe we make a motion to work on the cart path first.
Pick a project?
Yep. Get the project.
I'd second that.
I think
Can you
that's
find out
probably,
what we need to get done, the areas that need to be worked?
Certainly, if you guys want, if you authorize us to take a look at the cart path, I'll personally walk it, we'll take pictures, evaluate.
Betty can take you for a ride in her golf
There
cart.
we go.
That's right.
She knows where all the bumps is.
You're giving me the old Jeep car. Yeah, but we can certainly do that, and, you know, just based off of phone use right now, we can.
Yeah, why don't you get us an idea of what it costs to make
Yeah.
those repairs and the ones that need it?
Yep,
Would
we'll
we
start
need to
there.
extend any concrete over on, section 5? There used to be the old par 5 over there that goes across Stewart Creek. There's no,
Yeah, there's a section missing right there by the red covered bridge.
oh, okay.
there's no cart path over there.
Is that where the sign is that says don't
Yeah,
go?
don't go past that.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So we make a motion to have Taylor,
Sewage?
evaluate cost for repairing the cart path,
Yeah,
Yeah,
we still have some few funds there.
okay?
I seconded it.
okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. No.
What about the pool though? That seems like that's a danger issue though.
It's not really. I
Well,
don't see
it's
it
locked,
being
it's
a-
got a locked fence around
That
it.
doesn't stop kids from getting in there.
Yeah, but we can't drain it. If we drain it, it may pop,
You need
if
to fill
we-
it up, and we're done.
and then we fill it up, and it's, well, but are we back to a liability issue if we fill it back up?
Okay.
No, we'll fill it up with dirt.
Oh, fill it with dirt, fill it in?
Yeah. That's the safest thing to do.
Is it our intention to use the pool as a pool or is it gonna be rented?
I,
We don't know yet, but that's something we're gonna have to,
I used to
we
use the
gotta
pool a
figure out how
lot.
we're gonna do it.
you know, it's a nice location,
Yeah.
I will say this, it's a nice location.
It doesn't
You don't
flood.
have to worry about it flooding, but that would have to be something that we'd have to work with the CIA together to figure out.
Well, I've been in favor of.
It needed
the
a lot
We're not,
PG
let me put it this way,
together.
we're not gonna manage the pool.
It needed a lot of repairs, the whole.
It's not really that bad. It's not leaking, believe it or not.
But the neighborhood has a pool. We need-
Yeah, but it always when it floods, what do you guys spend a year on repairs on that thing when it floods?
The last time, it was over 100,000.
I don't know, I mean, I don't have a problem putting a committee together, if you guys want 2 people, we can only have 2 people on a committee. To work with some people from the CIA, whoever wants to be on that committee, to, see if there's something we can't work out, or maybe we come back to the point where we do fill it in. I don't
Are we
know.
talking specifically about the pool or or the whole park area?
No, just the pool and the pool and the parking spaces there. I think as a board, we need to figure out what we're gonna do with the rest of the thing. But,
And how we're gonna manage it at some point?
yeah, what we're gonna do with them, yep. So, yeah. So, do anybody want to be on the committee?
What if we hired somebody to manage that park for us? Just
To manage the
oversee-
pool
To oversee it, yeah.
Well, first of all, I'm not the attorney here, but I'm gonna let Davis do it after I make my comment, but do we really wanna get in the swimming pool
No,
business?
I don't.
I don't either. So, and second of all, do we wanna compete with the CIA
No.
for swimming pools?
No.
There,
Not that it's competition.
I personally would say, and I love pools, I have one, I would say.
You do?
I would say fill it in
when he's out of town,
Cor-
so.
Because there's lifeguards issues.
correctly,
They have lifeguards.
fill it in, pave over the top of it, maybe put good tile or something, take down the fence, put some benches up around there that people can sit around. But that pool, you got insurance, you got
Yeah.
chemicals, you got liabilities.
You make it a little park, you put four squares down there, something for kids to play.
I don't think I'd wanna put it there. I don't think I'd wanna put all.
And I don't
that
think the
there.
country, I'm not sure the country club would want us to put it there,
Yeah.
being too.
But plus to get there, you have to
I
park
think,
in
I
a
think we
parking
make,
spot,
we
or
make
walk
that
around
grass,
to the
or
country
we
club
let
parking
make it a
drive,
pool.
or
Yeah.
walk across the grass where there's,
Yeah.
oh, it's
Yeah. Does anybody, do we want to put a committee together to figure out?
I say we put a committee together and talk about what we can do.
What the
with-
options are?
What the options are.
Okay, you want to be on the committee?
Sure.
Okay, who else wants to be on the committee? Laurel? Okay,
Okay.
there you go. There's our committee for the, seeing what the options are with the pool and the parking spaces up there.
Okay.
So, okay.
Is that Tim and Tom?
Tim and Carl.
Carl, sorry.
Yep.
Sorry about that, I just didn't hear.
Yep. Yep, okay. Cool. Are we good? You done?
Good, I'm done.
Okay, anybody, we're good with green space? Okay.
Did we vote on the motion to get Taylor to
I thought we
assess?
did, didn't
We did?
I thought we did,
Okay.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, okay.
Look at the video.
Okay. Discuss the use of district facilities, take action as necessary. Was that from what I had asked to put on the agenda, or is that something else?
It was, we got a couple of requests from board members, and so there may be some overlap here, but I went ahead and put them both on just to make sure that we, addressed everything that anybody wanted to address.
Okay. I don't know who else asked to have it put on there, so I'll tell you what my idea was, but it has gone by the wayside now, so it's not. I had asked the fire department, since they were in jeopardy of losing their agreement on their location in River Plantation. I've been working with them probably about 6 months to see if this place would meet their needs, if we could work it out that they could use this place. And since then, they've entered into an agreement with Mr. Chrysler to stay where they're at. And so this would have taken a lot of work, especially reinforcing the concrete and everything for the trucks and that. So they really are better off where they were at, where they're at. So, yeah, so, anybody else?
Closer to my house.
Closer to your house, there you go.
So I assume we're still gonna meet here
Yep,
for meetings.
Oh, yeah.
Still our building.
yeah,
So
yep.
when Richard's gone, who's gonna make the TV work and stuff like that? Is- 'cause a lot of
We are.
logistics, yeah.
We're gonna all work together, so, yeah, so. We're just gonna have to know where he leaves his speakers. And I'll tell you what I would like to do. Are you good at video? Anybody good at videos?
I am,
You are?
oh, yeah.
Okay, can I get two of you by any chance, in case one's not here and one is here, to come down and work with Richard on how the video works, and so we have it ready to go for.
One how to work the camera.
Okay,
And,
Okay.
and
All right.
upload it to the web and.
to the website, yeah, because
I
we
don't
have
know how
to,
to do that.
well, I think we're responsible for uploading it after,
Okay.
yeah, so, if, do I have volunteers?
I'll volunteer for that.
Carl and
Okay.
Tim? Okay, so Carl and Tim are gonna be our videographers.
We're in the AV club.
There you go.
That's right.
My 17-year-old grandson can probably help.
I-
That's
There
right.
you go. Well, tell them to start coming to meetings and help the rest of us here, so. Okay, did anybody else have a thing on the district facilities? No? That was it?
So they're still gonna have the Dropbox available, that would be
Correct.
the only physical way to pay your bills going forward, I assume, right?
Yes.
And then
Yeah.
you
And
guys-
you're not
you
gonna
guys-
use it at all, right?
I mean, as far as day-to-day operations, no, sir. I mean, I certainly, I mean, if it's here and flood, hurricane, freeze, I mean, our protocol is to have guys in the district and they camp out until it's over. And so if that's the case,
Can you open it up for them?
would
Of course,
certainly-
how much water do we get here?
18 inches?
18 inches?
Yeah.
That was just Harvey.
That was Harvey.
So, yeah.
Other than that, we have never had water.
Well, trust me. We've got another facility that's got, we got a boat ready to go, so, trust me, we.
So you would possibly have a use for it at times.
I mean, I can certainly see us utilizing it for the benefit of the district, certainly. You know, like I said, on just day-to-day operations.
Yeah, so we've got a use for this, so we gotta figure out what we leave on and what we turn off. And it sounds like we're gonna leave stuff on.
But I was gonna say, right now, I've asked Richard to leave everything on, just maybe turn it up a little bit, so that it's
Put
not
it in
as,
vacation mode.
yeah, yeah.
I will say having this place here helps with contractors, having a place for them to house their equipment while they're working within the district, so they don't have to drive a long ways to pick up, whether it not be bigger trucks and things like that, being able to house in the back is a
There might be
benefit.
some benefit for us in that.
Yeah, there's definitely some benefit to having that ability.
Okay.
And I believe we have a backhoe and things like that, does they stay, what?
They're ours, they're staying, everything's, we're leaving everything the way it is right now. Just to evaluate what's gonna
To be
happen.
evaluated,
Yeah.
yes.
I mean, our intention would be to utilize, I mean, we've got all the equipment we can need.
Yeah.
I mean, again, we would be remiss not to, you know, if there's things here that are owned by the district that can be utilized, that would help us to expedite repair, whatever else, and like I said, that would be foolish not to use it,
But their motor is like anything else, they're gonna have maintenance.
That's right, yeah, I mean, you know what, again, you know, we can, and Davis, I'm sure, would have a lot to say on this, but, you know, we've been involved in some transitions similar to this. You know, and there's certain hoops that you gotta jump through, if there is, you know, public property that is no longer, you know, needed, we can, you know, we've been down that road elsewhere, and we can certainly try to help in conjunction with Davis to make sure that that's rightly taken care of, and that you guys are able.
Yeah, I think there are a number of issues that are gonna need to be addressed, both the building and the equipment, files, you know, a number of kind of matters to address, as we progress through this transition. So, I don't know that they all need to be addressed, you know, immediately, but, you know, they are all things to keep in mind, so.
Okay.
We good? All right, operations transition.
Very good. Yeah, so as I mentioned, June 1st is the day. We have provided some notices to Richard. He's going to include with your final billing, I think, just a sticker
Okay.
included there. We're going to door tag every home within the district on the 1st. Within that, and I think I've sent out a copy of that notice, and I'll make sure, I can send another copy to make sure that it's on the website or whatever else. Within that notice, there's going to be various steps that folks have to take to kind of reestablish payment channels. So if that's e-check, ACH, return credit card, so on and so forth. I mean, there's a little bit of legwork that has to be done for customers to reestablish those payment processes. All of that is there and in place, and kind of where we stand today. Richard's been incredibly helpful in gathering billing data to date. We've got all that built, and it's in our system, it's ready to go. Kind of the last lingering piece is that as they finish out their final billing, we'll import all of that information into our system so that we've got all of the current balances and account status. And then from there, you know, the ask is that no payments would be posted within your system, that any payments beyond that would be posted within our
There
system.
won't be anybody here to post it.
Yes, ma'am. You know, as far as operations, we're ready to go. We've got the folks we need. We'll have a whole army of us out here on June 1st, passing out the door tags, walking through facilities. You know, we're ready to roll. We certainly look forward to getting started. You know, I would just add, you know, we're, you know, typically during these transitions, you know, as like I said, there's it doesn't matter how much notification you provide, there's going to be some folks that are it's going to get lost in translation, and you're going to have some folks that try to continue to pay a certain way, and so generally what we recommend is, you know, a 30 to 60 day kind of window where we're not terminating services, where we're able to go out and kind of help get folks heading in the right direction to make sure that everyone's aware of kind of what all needs to be done. We've done this many times over. I'm not going to tell you that it's perfect. There's going to be some hiccups, but I feel confident that we can.
If you have any, this is who we are, this is how you're gonna pay your bills, any of that kind of information that could be put on our website, I'd like for you to get with
And on
Richard.
social media.
Yeah, get it on our website ASAP, really, because right now, social media's already going crazy. They're hollering Crest is coming in and gonna run it, and we don't know where you're gonna get your pay, your bill. We have this devil in our neighborhood, and it's called Nextdoor and Facebook. You know, those things,
Those devils live elsewhere too.
Yeah. Those are our main
So
news
can you
sources.
announce right now the name of your company, where they would go to pay their bill, a phone number they could call if they need something,
Well, the
that
phone
kind of
number's
thing?
gonna be the exact same number.
Okay, but just for right now, because of
So
the
it's
video,
beyond the
people are
video.
gonna watch
Sure.
this.
But that's, if we could just get, I mean, our webmaster, Monty, if all you gotta do is give him the information and say, put it on there,
I
and
will
he'll have it
send-
on the web in an
I
hour.
will send Richard, and I think it's already been sent, I will send Richard tonight, before I close my eyes, I will send him a copy of the current letter that's gonna be hung on the customer's door
Okay.
June 1. Within that letter, it has our information, our contact information, the name of our company, we're Municipal Operations and Consulting. Our main office is just south of here. Folks can continue to utilize the Dropbox. You can drop off a check at the office, you can pay cash at the office, we do credit card payment.
Yeah, we
recurring
have all that on our
ACH. We've
website,
got-
how do we transition that?
Yeah, so all of that will be, I mean, so typically the way that's done, and we can work with your website folks, is more or less, the customer can go to your website and, you know, click here if you want to pay your water bill, and it's gonna direct them to us, whether they can input.
Yeah, you might wanna just get with Monty and you guys can transition that, cause right now, all of that's on our website, you can do that.
But it's a different payment process.
It may be, but that's why they need to get together.
No, but he's saying he's going to go to Richard and then go to the website. Why are we keeping Richard in that if Richard's not going to be here anymore? Are you going to have to go to the webmaster?
Just have him just
forward?
Yeah.
Either way,
Yeah, you can contact Monty, he can help you introduce you to Monty, and
I mean, Richard can guide you through that process. but
Yeah.
That's got to transition. as soon as
that's no issue. This is the first I've heard of money, so if I can get his contact information, I will.
yeah,
get
it's
him
on our
back.
website, go to our website, it's down there under the one that says webmaster.
And just for the record, everything's been coming to our office and we've been sending the assembling the packet and everything and sending it to Monty, and we're happy to help too, so you just let us know.
Yeah, but anyway, I'm just saying, the quicker we can get that, we can quell some of this nonsense.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. However, there's also kind of a catch-22 that if you get the cart before the horse and you start telling folks,
Oh, yeah.
you got to change all these processes and everything else, then they're trying to do that prematurely.
Yeah,
And so
right now, they're doing the same thing, they're going out there and saying that, the MUD won't give them a letter so that the CIA will let them build a pool. Or now they're doing,
Well,
Crest is gonna be running
That's something different.
the MUD, and, you know, you're not gonna be able to pay your bills here anymore.
There was
So-
gossip before Facebook.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It
And
happened
I'm
on the
just trying, I'm
clothesline,
just saying, let's try to get
whatever.
ahead of it a little bit.
no,
People will talk.
Absolutely.
It's time now, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Build the social media.
Yeah. So that, final bills are gonna be going out. We actually read y'all's meters on Monday, at the request of Richard, so, we've already read your meters, we've done that once, door tax are going out, we'll be ready to roll, so.
Sounds good. What else we got?
Administrative reports, managers reports, system reports. I, for one, am happy to see we had nobody at over 50,000 gallons.
Wow.
Only
That
one
can't be
at
true.
40.
Well, that was last,
Only one at 40 or something like that.
Yeah, I know.
that was last month, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Not this month.
Right,
But the
right.
bills that are going out now, I
They're
understand,
different,
they're
yeah.
high.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
The systems are all running fine. We're making sure we're getting everything in shape for the transition, so plants are going fine, there's no problems with them, so that they should be able to come in and take over with no problems. And commenting on what Keith was saying about the webpage, I've already taken care of that. Our webpage for paying bills online will actually go offline at midnight on the 30th,
Okay.
so that Taylor can recover everything over the weekend, put it into RVS on Tuesday, and then it will finalize everything. So they won't be able to access that webpage anymore. And then once we get his link, then we can get with Monty and he can change the link over to theirs.
Okay.
But that'll be done on
So when
Tuesday.
did you want us to stop processing payments?
Once y'all send out this last bill, which I
Right.
think you're doing that.
We're doing, in the process of doing that right now.
Correct.
This will be the last billing that we send out, and every one of
Okay,
the
but you
new,
want us to collect payments up until Tuesday?
Once the bills go out, we would ask that no payments be accepted.
That's
until-
correct.
Until they're accepted by us.
that's correct. Yeah, we
Okay.
won't accept
So
anything
then
until.
take the link off, like tomorrow, if they went out, if they were going out tomorrow. Is that what I'm hearing? That's what I'm hearing?
Well, if we do that, then the people that normally pay through the weekend aren't gonna be able to pay that.
But it doesn't matter because they won't get it in their system.
Yeah, they won't get the bill.
Yeah, but we're sending the bill out, and it's got his sticker, I should say, we put the stickers on them to divert them, to pay at this location now.
I mean, so any sort of automatic reoccurring payments, all of those
Right.
channels
We don't have any of that.
should be
Right.
closed.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, once the final bills are rendered,
Right.
the ask is to not accept payment.
So I would have Monty stop that link tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I can have him take that link off.
Take that link off tomorrow
Right, the
morning.
Paystar link, and then we can just leave it off until he's ready to start his.
So we
On
want to
Tuesday.
get the new one up as soon as possible.
Right, well,
Right, but, I mean, and again, that's, so ultimately, what's gonna land on y'all's website is something that's gonna direct them to our website to access the payment portal. And there's gonna have to be some communication between customers and our office, and so that's part of what this letter outlines, is contact us, we can provide you the account number and all of the necessary information you need to set up whatever type of payment method you wanna use. And so I mean, at this point, we're trying to kind of force the customers to communicate with our office, get their new account information, get all of the various credentials that they need to get the account set up, and, we'll walk through customers,
Okay, so the customer numbers and all that'll change.
Yes, sir.
So there's gonna be a delay though. So they're gonna get their bills and they won't have a website to go to at all.
Yeah,
Like
our
2
website
days.
will be there.
Correct.
But
They
that
can-
means they'll
they-
have a website to go to pay their bill,
They can go to the website,
but they won't be able to pay their bill
they
later.
can go to the website, and they can go to our payment portal, but you're not gonna have your account number until you get our first bill. And so you're gonna have to contact our office, this is this is my service address, and then we can provide you all that information, then you can log in and you can do whatever type of payment you wanna make. Or you can call our office, we can take payment over the phone, so on and so forth. So I mean, there is going to be a delay.
The first month is gonna be paid.
right, yeah.
Yeah, more or less. I mean, and again, that's part of that notice is
Yeah.
that it outlines, I think, in fairly decent detail, kind of what has to unfold there. And so, once we collect payment for y'all's, the final bill rendered from here, right, we're gonna post those payments, we're gonna read the meters, we're gonna send out a new bill, a new coupon, new everything. It's gonna have your account number, so on and so forth. In the event that somebody wants to come to our office and make payment prior to that, we'll provide you all the necessary information that you need to be able to establish payment methods.
And I think it would be a good idea, like Jamie asked, since this is on video and there's gonna be people watching it, if you said, just so the camera can catch it, the name of your company and your phone number so that people that are watching it can capture your phone number.
Sure.
Okay?
Company name is Municipal Operations and Consulting. Telephone number is 281-367-5511.
Okay?
So
Very
they
good.
can still call the main, they can still call our number.
Yes.
Yeah, and it'll go to you guys.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
It won't
But that way they got
It will,
both.
Tuesday or Wednesday, whatever day the first is.
Yeah, our number will stay active for 30 days until the end of June, and I'm gonna program it to forward to his number. So if they do call the office, it's going to go to them, starting on Tuesday night.
Okay.
Now, one thing,
Change it on the website. No?
I'm just saying, why do we keep the phone up after the transition?
Well, just people have that number, so just
Right.
give a call.
I don't,
mean,
I look it up
when you
every
have-
time.
It's good to keep it up. 30 days doesn't cost much.
30 days is not much, but continually.
Yeah, we're only doing it for 30 days.
now, one thing Keith's probably not aware of, I've been working with Starnick, which is the new software company they're going to transitioning to. I've been working with BJ, we're actually gonna keep what we're terming as a ghost account. So if somebody calls and they're not gonna have the new number, the old account number's still gonna work, because they can ghost it until they send their bills out. Once they get their bills out, then the old numbers will deteriorate because they're gonna be assigned new ones.
Yeah, so we can, if by chance you know your current account number here, you can call our office and provide them that account number. We can pull up your account, we can see all that information. So
Correct.
it's a legacy account number is what we call it. So we import it, it's still tied to your account, still tied to all the same information. But for the purposes of payment channels and everything else, automatic payment channels, we're gonna need you to utilize the new account number, which our office can provide.
Good. Okay.
Okay. Okay,
I say no.
all right.
Management report.
All right.
Okay.
Systems totals?
System totals report looks good. Like I said, there's no issue there.
Typically water loss.
We had a little bit higher than normal water loss, but that's because the water line leak that we had last month, it's kind of overlapped a little bit. It'll go back down. On the TCQ compliance, I did receive a letter, which I gave a copy to Taylor here for his records. The EPP that I submitted to TCQ was approved, and so he's gonna have it on file for him. And as Taylor mentioned earlier, the MS4, which is the Stormwater Management Program, the notification was approved to go out, and so it's posted now. The other thing I have is you requested bids for the landscaping and mowing. So I contacted 3 companies. One company did not want to bid, they withdrew, so I left them out. These are the other ones that did. Look at it, I had them break it out into 3 sections, which is the park, the facilities, and the ditches.
These are annual amounts, right?
Those are annual amounts, correct. So, as you can see, we got 2 of them that did bid it there, so the board can review those and decide which one they want to go with, or do we need to want to wait and get more?
What's the difference between facilities and the park?
The facilities I would assume would be like here and the waste, the
Yes.
wells and the.
That's correct. The facilities is all of the water, the wastewater plants, the water plants, 2 empty lots that we have to mow, things like that.
Okay.
The open ditches are the ditches along the north ditch, the south ditch, the Mosswood ditch, all of those ditches that are in that section. And of course, the park area is the whole 71 acres.
Right.
So can we get road services to do the facilities and the land care to do the other one? There's a big discrepancy there.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I would tell you also, if we want to hold off a week on this, we can get another bid.
Yeah, I would
But
think it's-
the other company I found,
We can't hold off a week, we don't have a meeting until a month.
Yeah.
we'd always have a meeting, anyway. I'm just saying, if we wanted to hold off, it may be beneficial, it may not. I'm just putting it out there.
And as far as facilities, we've got several, we can do it in-house if we need to. We've got several groups that we work with, that, I'm not
Okay,
sure what the
I'm
price is.
sorry, Keith, I can't.
As far as facilities, the actual wastewater side, water plant sites, lift stations, so on and so forth, we have several different contractors that we work with to mill and maintain those sites, so I can certainly have them, once we get this transition behind us, I can certainly have them come out and give us a number on that as well.
Yeah, we have,
Well,
they're probably similar, but we work with a lot of the same people.
yeah, I think that's kind of what I'm saying, we could get a couple other bids, you could get some, I got another guy would do one, but we can't do that if we accept a bid tonight. Is what I'm saying. Here's our problem, the old Charleston course needs to get mowed pretty quick, and we need to get somebody on it, but nobody knew until just the other day. These bids went out for bid, and we didn't get everybody involved that could be. That's all I'm saying. So I don't know if it's beneficial, if we'd save any money by getting other people to bid or not. And I'm gonna go either way. We wanna go with this?
Are either one of these the ones that bid on it last time?
No.
No. Okay. Did we contact the people that bid on it last time? I forgot who they were, but,
I can.
huh?
I said I can.
Okay.
Don't you guys have some Batwing mowers?
Yes, we do. We have, there's one,
What would it cost us to have you bring your Batwings out and just run those 9 fairways while we take time to get additional bids?
Well,
There's more to it than that.
I was gonna say, it's not like you just run it down the fairway. I mean,
Well,
he's been
knows
doing, the guy, yeah, I mean, he's out there again tonight mowing, and it's taken forever.
Yeah, but he's using those little bitty, they've got Batwing mowers,
But there are areas that you can't use the bat one.
Yeah, that's right. I'm just trying to look at for options to get
No, I
us
understand.
time.
Especially right now, rainy season. The grass is gonna be growing. Yep. I don't know how much he's gonna get done tonight, but,
Can't you
How
guys call him?
how many mows are they looking at in the park down there?
it says
20.
20 times a year,
Is that 20 or 30?
20.
20.
Because you're gonna mow twice in the summer, and in the winter, you're only gonna mow once.
And the ditches are 4 times a year.
Do we have anybody looking at the
Not
dead trees,
$300
service,
Not to throw
all the limbs,
with like a park
you know, the
system and
mowers
things like
down,
that,
the
you
limbs
may be
that are
looking
the
at like
trees.
grass
All these
maintenance
people will do what they call
as well,
cleanup for the first one.
that you want
Which
overseeding
is
and
take
stuff
all
like
stuff
that.
out,
but
underbrush
it
it.
was
Yeah.
part of that bid. So typically when we're maintaining facilities, like, when we're requesting.
What do you say that is part of this?
I don't think it is.
I don't think it is.
Right,
What?
overseeding and things like
No,
that.
Three
yeah,
of them.
no.
So when we
You
do,
do?
No.
so when we do like facilities
The
for
one that's up
For our
front, the
districts,
one
we put together
here,
a bid
in the middle,
proposal that includes
the other one
overseeding,
down there.
the actual ditch work that's going to be done, the acreages, linear feet, whatever it may be.
So you have somebody that, somebody that does this?
I know a laundry list of them, from big names like Champions, GSI is a bigger name that I recognize on there, Environmental Allies, Stormwater Solutions, I'm sure you've got CBAC, or, tons of different other people, I mean, we can have you.
So can you get us some bids, or somebody get us some bids
We could probably,
additional
we
ones?
could probably get you 7 or 8 bids. I mean,
Okay.
a district this size is gonna be pretty advantageous to some of these contractors.
Well, especially when we got 77 acres.
Correct, and
Well, we got more than that. We
Well, I know, when you do the other things, but yeah.
and all 3 of the ditch contractors that I talked to normally do this work, and they all ask is potentially do a maintenance contract, so I think they're
Okay.
highly interested. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, do that, and then we'll have a,
So do we want to,
Emergency
are we going
meetings.
back
Special
out for
meeting.
bids again? Is that what we're doing?
we're going out for additional bids.
I mean, it would just.
That's what I would suggest.
So the current guy can keep cutting?
No, he's
He's
done, he's done, he quit.
He quit, that's our problem, we're under pressure of,
So can we hire one of these guys for 2 months? Are we,
Probably not.
do they have to?
I wouldn't
because
think
we get
so.
a contract?
doesn't have to be, but you're not gonna do that.
But I was gonna say, I wouldn't
I
think we
doubt
would.
it.
But, you know, if you look at it, they're looking at $3,400 a mow,
Wow.
it's the cheapest one.
Right, to get us, so we can get some
Yeah.
bids in.
Huh?
Yeah, I mean, some of these bigger names are gonna be like a consultant like we are. They're gonna provide recommendations, be able to do some actual work in the ditches and things like that as needed.
Yeah,
and
well, that's
contracts.
one of the companies that I had contacted, but I didn't tell him till this morning when we got a bid, and so he couldn't put anything together that quick, you know.
But yeah, I can have a bid.
It's, what's the name of that Brightview, you ever hear of them?
Doesn't ring.
You have? Yes, I know they do a lot of work down around the hospitals and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I can throw together a bid proposal tomorrow, and a district your size, I think people are gonna be advantageous, you could probably
Do
bid
we wanna,
in
do
2
we wanna
weeks.
ask for more bids and redo this? or-
I
agree.
would,
I think so.
Yes.
I think I'm having a
When
heart
you,
failure
when you
looking
get,
at this.
if you do that, let me know, I want to
Yep.
let my guy know.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's really just a guy I know that does this, it's part of his job. But I'm not gonna be involved other than make sure he gets a fair
No,
bid.
yeah, just send me his contact information, and I can contact him. And let him know.
That's what I'm saying, I'm having a heart failure looking at this.
The ditches are only 4 times a year, and that's $40,000.
Huge.
What constitute the ditches?
The moss, is that
So,
mosswood and
so you've got Mosswood
east?
ditch, I don't know what involves all in East Plantation ditch, but obviously, once it's been cleaned out, a regular maintenance would
Right.
be recommended, and then you have what
The
I'll
north-south
call the
ditch.
north ditch that runs along
Over here.
the gas pipeline.
You're not talking about the concrete ditches.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
That's another.
Once it's fully cleaned out.
You gotta maintain it so it
just
doesn't
make
get back to
the
that.
You don't have to do share,
Yes, it is.
I can do it, but I take five.
I mean, I mean,
It's nice.
The,
I know that.
the creek or ditch that goes into Gwen Rizka across the road to where those big
Yeah.
holes are, that's all clogged up now and needs to be cleaned
That
up.
top one, that top one is the guy I'm talking
The one
about.
that goes under the road?
And he's with,
Is that the county's or is that ours?
Brightview.
That's ours?
The Roanoke ditch.
It's all
But he
clogged
was,
with
they
weeds
were
or
trying
with?
everything to
Trees,
get a
weeds.
bid in.
You guys
when you
cleaned it
only have
out
half a day.
last year, I think it was it last year? But now it's all overgrown again.
You got it?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, all right,
It's not that large, but it needs to be because of the rainy season.
okay. Okay, I would like to table that.
I second.
Okay. All in favor?
All right.
Okay.
Do we want to set a time to try to get back to it, or do we
We
just
gotta wait
suffer
till we
through
get
it?
bids. I
Huh?
mean, the sooner we can get
Oh, we
bids,
can't
the
wait.
faster, yeah. No,
Okay.
not this time of year.
Can't you give a deadline for the bid?
I'm in a rush, but I wouldn't put less than a 2-week timeframe on it, just to make sure people have the ability to come visit the site.
Yeah, because they got to look at it.
Yeah, because we'll put together an exhibit form that shows all the acreages called out, the facility locations and things like that, the linear feet of the ditch, you know, concrete, so on,
Yeah.
so forth.
Okay.
Maybe in 2 weeks.
Are these guys going to get that as well?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah, I'll go back to them.
Yeah, they need to have that
Yeah,
opportunity.
for a fair shake.
The ones that bid, the other ones that didn't want to bid, I don't think you need to worry about that, but.
So 2 weeks, you think?
Yeah, I can do that in 2 weeks, so, next week is June, probably that following week, I think, is the,
It'll be the 9th on
Yeah, I
Thursday.
can't
Is
remember.
this, is this critical enough we need to try to do a special meeting to approve it?
Well, unless you want the weeds to grow for a month.
I don't want them to go at all, but we gotta do what we gotta do.
It's not gonna rain for 2 weeks.
How do you know that?
He's a weatherman.
Well, the 10-day forecast, okay, 10 days.
10-day forecast.
He flew through the clouds.
The pilot once told me the weatherman can only predict 40 to 36 hours.
Maybe half a day.
So I can't meet on the 9th. I've got something, but if we want to do another day that week, or if you want to meet without me, that's totally fine.
Another day.
I can do the 8th, the 7th.
Do that.
Can't do the 6th. The 8th.
That's good.
At 6:30. Yep. Okay.
No, I'm giving them a full week, week and a half. So
Okay.
They should be able to get the numbers back.
yeah.
Okay.
All right. Maintenance and repair, bids for mowing. Okay. Anything else, Richard?
No, man.
We get all the signs up on the
Yep.
park?
All signs are up.
Okay. All right.
I have two questions if you don't mind.
Okay.
One, you commented about the park and it made it sound like there might be other plans that hadn't been discussed. Can you share if there are other?
I have no idea because we haven't discussed it.
Well, it's just something, how you said it. Are there other plans other than what's been discussed? It will be left as green space, is that correct?
That's the primary
Perfect.
purpose for it.
Yeah.
All right,
It's
great.
green space. And the things that Kim mentioned are the only things that I've heard.
No, I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
No, I totally agree with all that, yeah.
Yeah.
The
Those
other
are the only
thing,
things that I've heard, other than the guy that wanted to do the.
yeah.
The frisbee.
But
Yeah,
we've already
moved
put
on
that
from
out.
Yeah.
So the other question is it possible for members of the community to be part of a committee to just help out? Because really, when y'all talk about committees, you only have two, that's not very many. And you might be able to pull in other people who'd be interested in participating, would have other input, other knowledge and education. It's just, I don't know if it's even allowed, but it's just a
We
question.
can. I mean,
I think that's
A
a great
public
idea.
hearing, at least, right?
do what?
Public hearing
Mhm.
specifically for that.
I think it's a great idea.
Can?
Well, you wanna be
Yeah,
one
we
of the
can,
committee?
Yeah, I
from
don't-
the public.
Right.
Can't we, Davis, have members of the public? I wouldn't want any more, I wouldn't want to split it, here's the problem. We can only have two, so if we have two members of the community, now we could possibly have a 50-50 split. Otherwise, you can only have one member from the community, otherwise, you have more than that, you've got the community running the committee, not
committee is
the,
only gonna make recommendations.
right,
The
We
board-
have-
board votes on it, so.
Can I suggest that maybe instead of necessarily appointing members of the community to the committee, that you encourage the two members of the committee that you have to work with members of the community?
And ask for input.
Make use of, the great members of the community and the resources that you have at your disposal to get as much, input and insight as possible.
Yep.
We could put something on the website, ask
Yeah.
him for input there. Have a hearing.
Have a meeting,
Mhm.
invite the
So
public.
you want to be on one of their committee?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I've always been interested in everything's been going on since the park has come up. But yeah, I'd be happy to participate in anything regarding the park, for sure. And then anything else I could help with, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I don't know if putting it out online is a good idea. It might open up a lot, especially if
As
you
long
can
as I
only.
don't have to read it, I'm on there.
But, I mean, people will hear this, those that are interested, they're seeing it, they could, write in or call in or whatever and say, hey, I would like to be considered. But it sounds like what you're saying is you want to keep your board members to be the majority. So that means only one per
That's
committee,
what I'm
right?
saying.
Yes,
That's the way it would have to be.
yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
But it might help be a force multiplier also for you guys.
Because remember, we're not a civic organization, we're a governmental entity.
I understand, that's
And
why.
if you have,
No, I understand. But that's why I didn't even know if it was possible. I've heard people talk about it some time ago, but, sometimes people have good ideas, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's
And the truth is,
permissible.
I don't think we're really looking for major projects to do out there, other than to clean it up, make it look good, and
Right.
maybe get the fountains
Right.
going, that kind of thing. I
It all
don't think
makes
we're looking
sense.
for, to look at build Taj
Yeah.
Mahals or anything.
Oh, no,
like
of course
that.
not, no.
Yeah.
We'd like to, motorcycle track might be good.
Yeah.
All right.
But then you're competing with the business across the road, so,
Neighborhood would love that.
yeah, yeah.
Thank
so, well, some of the neighborhood does like that, so. Okay, do we have a need for executive session?
Not that I know of.
We do not?
Okay, all right, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
Okay, do I have a second?
I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, meeting adjourned.
Thanks
Checks are
everybody for your input.
Checks are signed,
We're out of here.
we're out of here.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
My paperwork too.
Oh, don't forget you're on the